So you think you should be further along than you actually are? Let's talk about that because this is important. You're not going to want to miss the rest of this video. And you might want to listen to it a few times. That is not me trying to sell you something. That is just the idea that many people I know, including myself, struggle or think about this often. What happens or what would have happened if I was further along? The first thing that we need to do before we even get to answering that question is understand what the actual F do you define as further. Because many times, as we spoke about in these last two videos, when we have this addiction to speed or this obsession with speeding up everything and accelerating, we got to get this done and everything is urgent. Oh my God, we got to get there. The idea of further, if you were further along, would you still want to be further along? I cannot emphasize enough that further is free beer tomorrow. Do you understand that? So when you go to let's say free coffee tomorrow. We'll make this for everybody. A little mosquito here. Is that if there is a sign that says free coffee tomorrow, tomorrow is never here. Further is never happening. It is just the way it's never going to come. The concept of further, the concept of tomorrow actually isn't real. It hasn't happened yet. It doesn't exist. Even the concept of yesterday isn't even real. That doesn't exist. This is a video for another time of talking about the present moment, or those two things not existing. But the idea that further or behind aren't real. I'm here to break that to you right now. Usually I prompt this and I'm like, well, what do you think of this? But we have to understand that further doesn't exist, behind doesn't exist. Where you are at is exactly where you are at. That's all it is. That's all it is. There is nothing outside of that. It is all within the moment that you have right now. And that is not going to change unless you say so. And it will definitely not change if you keep thinking further. And I laugh at that because this obsession with being further, being enough, being further along, I have to make up for this time. It's not real. And the only way to make up for lost time or be further along is to say that it's already here right now. And I know that, okay, this sounds like obviously a little bit convoluted and wild and crazy, but if you can say that, well, I have access to this right now, I can go do this. You actually can. You truly can be a part of it right now. And you have to accept, and this is part of the equation. In this past video, when I told you, we're not talking about the how. Like, the how is not your job. It is not. Your involvement is always there. You always have the ability to be a part of something, whether you say so or like whether you want it or not. How you are involved with that in what capacity, kind of sort of not really up to you. I was on the swim team in high school, and now I've been called to be one of the coaches or like help out. Not even a coach, but to help out. Maybe in my world, I call it a coach. But the whole point being is that I won't be competing for that school anymore, but I'll be involved in some capacity or whatever it may be. Maybe it's me showing up, and cheering on the team. But the idea is that further along, it doesn't really, it's neither here nor there. Maybe that was my dream all along, was to be a coach for the swim team. The whole point being is like, if that were the case, then this is where I'm at, and I've just made it now. But when you start to engage with the thread or the timeline of, I should be further along, you immediately devalue where you're at right now. Immediately. That's the first thing you need to understand about this further along stuff. I just don't have the capacity on YouTube to curse yet. Once I get there, I will. But the idea number one is that when you start to pedestalize further, you immediately devalue right now. You devalue where you're at. And in doing that, you devalue everything that's led up to now. In a way, I don't want to say you're like totally just, shunning or a pox upon your house or a pox upon the past. But the idea is that you are devaluing the present moment by pedestalizing further. So it's not anything within right now that you can say, oh, I value that, which brings us to the second thing, and that's gratitude. When we start to engage with the further, the ability of gratitude is just, it's not there. But to understand the value of having gratitude is everything becomes of not more value, but the utmost value, because you're being thankful for it. You're recognizing it, you're seeing it, you're hearing it. So this idea of I should be further along is the idea of, well, I can't be grateful for anything right now. Can you do both? Can you do both? We can talk about that later in another video. I don't believe that you can. I believe that the ability to be grateful or exercise gratitude is just it's not in the toolbox when we're like, I should be further along. So when we're saying I should be further along, it is in a way being ungrateful for what you have right now. And the last thing that I think of is that I should be further along begets itself. And we can fall into a loop of I'm not enough, I'm not of value, I never made it, I'll never make it, I'm destined for this right here. And there's this Stephen King novel, I can't really remember it, but it's a group of people at an airport, and they step out of time. And the concept is weird because even explaining it is tough, because it's this idea that they step out of time and they're living in the past. So everything is rotten, everything is expired, everything has been used. If you think of timeline as going, this way, and like this is the present moment, everything is passing through the present moment, you're living right here, they're living like just behind it. I think they're going back a little bit. So everything is expired, everything is rotten, and there's these monsters coming to eat up the past moment. I'm getting way a little bit off here. But the point being is that people can live in that space in their own reality, is that they feel that they're living in this stale, done environment. It's like when the lights go out at the stadium, the game's over, nothing's happening, but there's no value in that for them. And so it begets itself, and I'm living in this done place. I'm living in this stale place. I'm living in the past. And the idea of further is not only not a possibility, but it's also this constant droning that is almost like, I don't want to say teases you, but condescends to you all the time. And you create this element that's condescending to you all the time, this voice that's condescending to you all the time. I should be further along. Why am I not further along? Why am I here? Oh man, why did I not live up to that thing? This all becomes something that begets itself, the third thing that I just spoke of. But the point is that how do we break out of this? The first step that I did to break out of this, and I'll give you a story at the end of this. This is a very, very personal story, is that I went out to the physical spaces. This may not be for you. I went out to the physical spaces. I revisited things in the past. I revisited moments in my mind in meditation, and some people in real, like actual, live action, like real life. And I got complete with them. Got complete with these situations. Or I apologized, or I just said, hey, what's up? I haven't seen you in a minute. Just wanted to say hey. And in doing these things, I talked about this in past videos, getting complete with my parents. It showed me that the opportunity for connection, the opportunity for gratitude, the opportunity to know that you've always been enough and will never not be of value is always there. Those moments are always there. They've gone nowhere. They've been right in front of you the whole time. You can meditate on them and visit it. You can physically go there and visit it if you want. You can make amends and reconnect and get complete however you want, but they are there. For me, I had a reoccurring nightmare where I show up to the track and I'm running the hurdles. But for some reason in this race, I cannot finish the hurdles. I cannot jump over them. For some reason, I cannot get my legs to move fast enough. And it's always, and here's the crazy part, it's always, I'm allowed like this bylaw chance. I get a phone call and they say, hey, Tucson, we heard you didn't make the state meet in high school. We just want to give you another shot to get that time on the 110 hurdles. You want to give it a shot? And I'm like, oh, I'd love to. And I go back, I train, I get out the line, shoot the gun, and I just can't get it. Can't get it. So what I did to dispel some of that was not only did I start running again, but I went back to the track that I began training on. And I said to myself, we're going to come back here often. We're going to run and just be. We're not going to set any expectations. We're just going to train and do some plyometrics, run, sweat, have a workout, maybe just walk around the track, but we're going to be here with it. Be here in a sense where there's no illusion of urgency, where there's no expectations, where there's no, man, I should be further along. Once I began to entertain the reality that there is no further and that where I'm at is absolutely perfect, it began the process of entertaining life without a further. It began the process of me looking at my life without the, oh, well, you know, it's coming around. Maybe it's tomorrow, free coffee tomorrow. And once I started to eliminate that illusion, the present moment, the abilities that I have in my body right now, the gratitude that I have for it, everything locked in. And it's not just a one-off thing. I do this every single day. I wake up and I write down several things I'm grateful for, or think of it, pray on it, meditate on it all the time. It is a constant practice. It is never just, oh yes, I figured out this gratitude thing. I've never thought about the word further for some years now. No, it is all the time. And I battle with it all the time, some days more than others. And that is the ebb and flow of life. But the thing that I absolutely refuse to be a part of my life is living in a cyclical state of thinking, man, only if I had, gosh, I really should be. No, I love 100% where I'm at right now. I absolutely love it. I love that I'm speaking to you right now about this. Had I not gotten complete with myself, I wouldn't be able to make this video. Even though this video is a little bit ranty, you know, it's still, I hope that you get something from it because I want you to know that you're not alone in this idea that you feel you should be further along and or that you can't make up for lost time. We'll get into lost time in the next video, but right now I think this idea of further is so incredibly important because the further is not real. It isn't. And if you pedestalize the idea of it, you eliminate the possibility to love where you're at right now, which is such a beautiful thing. And I want that for you, or at least have the possibility to entertain that. That's what I want for y'all. That's all I got for this. I think I'm about to start crying if I go any further. There's a few videos like that. But please know, the further is not real. And if you pedestalize it, it will become a cyclical part of your life that it's almost like Groundhog's Day. Those are the cautions of it. But on the other side of it is gratitude, self-love, and beginning to confront some of the ghosts of your past that you may have to do mentally, in meditation, or even physically, if you just go to that space. And I can't tell you what's best. I can tell you only what I did. I don't know what's going to work out best for you, but that's what worked out for me. And yeah, here's to dispelling the illusion of further. All right, we'll see you in the next one.